In a city that never sleeps, under the constant hum of neon and the relentless rhythm of rain, there was a man named Kenji to the world. He was just another face in the crowd, a shadow slipping through the cracks of a million hurried lives. He was the man you brushed past on the sidewalk without a second glance, the one whose order was forgotten at the crowded coffee shop. In a city of 8 million souls, Kenji was utterly, profoundly invisible. He walked through downpours, the cold drops mixing with the silent tears of a loneliness so deep it felt like a part of his very bones. He'd stand at his apartment window, watching the endless stream of headlights, a river of people all going somewhere, all connected to someone, and he was just driftwood, pushed aside, forgotten, a ghost in his own life. His feeling of being a non-entity wasn't new. It was a cloak he'd worn for so long he'd forgotten what it felt like to be seen. Every day was a battle against the crushing weight of insignificance. He'd try. He really would. He'd speak up in meetings, only to have his ideas talked over. He'd try to join conversations, only to have the circle close before he could find an opening. The city, with all its promises of connection and opportunity, had become his personal cage, its bars forged from the indifference of others. He felt like a glitch in the system, a piece of code that didn't belong, destined to be overwritten. The rain wasn't just weather. It was the world weeping for a man who couldn't even weep for himself anymore. Then, one night, everything changed. It was late. Another Tuesday bleeding into Wednesday. The streets were slick with a fresh coat of rain, reflecting the city lights in a fractured, blurry mess. Kenji was walking home, hood pulled low, his gaze fixed on the grimy pavement. He passed a puddle, a small, temporary mirror reflecting the dark sky and the glowing signs above. But when he glanced down, it wasn't his own pathetic, rain-soaked reflection that stared back. He's in a city that breathes concrete and exhales indifference. Have you ever felt like a ghost? Just another face in the endless river of people, a whisper lost in the roar of the metropolis. This is Kenji's world. He's a shadow in the rain-slick streets, a forgotten note in the city's cacophonous symphony. Day after day, he drifts through the crowds, his presence as fleeting as a raindrop on hot pavement, pushed aside, overlooked, and utterly invisible. He walks past reflections in shop windows, seeing nothing but a blur. A man erased by the world around him. His life is a quiet echo of what could have been, a constant, dull ache of being unseen. But what if the world you see isn't the only one that exists? What if the reflection staring back at you holds a secret, a power you never knew to possess? One rain-lashed evening, huddled under a flickering neon sign, Kenji glances at a puddle, a murky mirror on the cracked sidewalk. But what he sees stops his heart. It isn't his own weary face staring back. Instead, a figure of immense power sits enthroned, an ancient king, his eyes burning with cold fire, clad in dark, ornate armor. He rests upon a throne, not of gold or jewels, but of countless interwoven swords, each one whispering tales of forgotten battles and conquered kingdoms. The king's gaze is a physical force, a silent challenge that cuts through the noise of the city and pierces Kenji's very soul. The reflection isn't just an image, it's a memory, an inheritance, a call to something more. In that single, breathtaking moment, the fragile barrier between Kenji's world and another shatters. The drab greys of the city begin to bleed into the rich, dark hues of a fantasy realm. The rumble of the subway sounds like the distant roar of a mythical beast. The skyscrapers twist into jagged, obsidian towers, reaching for a blood-red moon. The people on the street, once just a faceless crowd, now seem to wear masks, their eyes holding ancient secrets and hidden allegiances. Is he losing his mind? Or is he finally waking up? This sovereign in the reflection, this king on a throne of blaze, isn't just a fantasy. It's the truth of who he is, buried beneath layers of self-doubt and societal neglect. It's the echo of a forgotten lineage, a power that has been dormant for centuries, now stirring within him. The city is no longer just a place to survive. It has become a proving ground, a kingdom to be claimed. Every alleyway is a potential battlefield, every stranger a possible foe or ally. Kenji stands at a precipice, a crossroads of destiny. He has two choices, stark and absolute. He can retreat back into the shadows, remain the victim, the ghost he has always been, and let this incredible vision fade like a dream. Or he can answer the call. He can embrace the fire that now flickers in his veins, the spirit of the dragon that the king's eyes promise. He can step out of the rain, shed his invisibility, and begin the brutal, bloody climb to claim his throne. The world has ignored him for long enough. Now, it will learn to fear his name. This power, This awakened soul is known as the dragon's vessel. It's not a gift. It's a force of nature that has chosen him as its conduit. Mastering it is like trying to tame a supernova. The first time he taps into it, the world walks around him. A simple act of will sends a wave of unseen force, shattering the windows of a passing bus. He can feel the city's energy, its pain, its fear, and he can bend it, shape it. But the vessel is hungry. It feeds on emotion, on conflict, on will. He learns to draw strength from the very indifference that once crushed him, turning it into a shield of cold resolve. He trains in the forgotten corners of the city, in abandoned warehouses that become his personal training grounds, his reflection his only tutor. The king guides him, teaching him to forge his will into a weapon sharper than any sword on the throne. But power, true and absolute, is never free. It demands a price, paid not in gold, but in pieces of your soul. As Kenji grows stronger, the line between himself and the ruthless king in the reflection begins to blur. The compassion he once had starts to feel like a weakness. The city, once his cage, now looks like a chessboard, and its people mere pawns in his game of ascension. Friends who try to reach out to the old Kenji are pushed away, unable to comprehend the storm raging within him. The dragon's vessel offers him the strength to never be ignored again, but it also isolates him, placing him on a solitary peak of power where the air is thin and cold. Every victory, every step closer to his throne, carves away a piece of his humanity. Is he becoming a king, or is he becoming a monster? The throne of swords awaits, but he must ask himself, when he finally sits upon it, will there be anything left of Kenji, the man who was lost in the rain? The journey to reclaim his power has begun, but the true battle will be for his own soul. What would you choose? The safety of being invisible, or the terrible glory of a crown? Thanks for watching. If you were captivated by Kenji's story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what happens next. Let us know in the comments what you think the price of power truly is. See you in the next one.